What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for another Walking Dead video here at Crooked Chicken. We had episode 4 of Daryl Dixon today, and holy crap. Definitely some surprises, some things I didn't see coming, a couple of things I did. But, before we get into that, please like, subscribe, all of that crap. And I would appreciate the hell out of it. Help me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers. And episode 4, just wow. I mean, there's some things I saw coming just because of the build-up we were getting with the previous episode especially. But it was a very good episode, a lot of stuff going on, some new faces. Obviously, they didn't really last long, but it was still a very good episode. Some things that were just, wow, like I didn't see them coming. And, we'll just jump into the episode. This episode's very much in the aftermath of what's going on at the nest, with Madame Genet arriving at the nest, getting ready to launch her attack, and Carol being put in this position that she was in, mixed in with the people that were set to be mowed down so they could be shot up with the super serum and then turn into these crazy super walkers to charge at the nest. All while poor Condron, even though when he was introduced, he was kind of a piece of shit, he has kind of grown on us, and the fact that he let Laurent and Daryl go at the end of last season, giving him this chance because he could not see himself killing a kid. And he's since paid the price for that with Madame Genet, because Madame Genet is just all about finding this kid, finding Daryl, finding anyone that poses a threat to her rise to power and trying to retain that power and all of that. And so we have Condron there strapped to the back of that dune buggy, like I'd mentioned in the previous breakdown, and he was being used as the bait, but it kind of didn't go as they were planning, I don't think, because with Carol being in that group with the people that were mowed down, she did actually get hit with one of those super serum needles, but hadn't started pumping anything yet, so she was able to get it out. She jumped up and kind of made her way to that dune buggy, yanking the guy out of there that was in there previously, and then taking off in it. How she didn't get shot was kind of amazing, but, suspend disbelief and whatnot. And kind of on top of that, too, as she's making this charge, when she gets to the front gate or what have you of the nest, and she's got the door there, she can't really do anything about it, that's when they decide to launch that cannon and blows that door out, and she makes her way into the nest, all while being shot at and everything, and with the pack of super walkers following her, and her and Condron do make it inside. She does cut them loose and everything, and, they got the reunion of her and Daryl out of the way rather quickly. I didn't think we would get it as quick as we did within the episode. I think it was in the first 15, 20 minutes, somewhere around there. And, they get back together, but all while this is going on, maybe a few minutes before, we have Isabel being interrogated by Losang and his couple little groupies, or whatever you want to call them there. She has just completely turned her back on this whole belief that they got going, this whole thing with Laurent. Understanding that he is a special kid, he's obviously very bright and very gifted in a lot of areas, but she just does not want to believe that he is this messiah, this prophet, or whatever, and just Losang is just blindly following this on faith, and just, I think, being kind of pushed from different directions as well. And it was right, because Isabel had that piece of shower drain. She does take a chance and lunge at Losang, cutting his face, and in a fit of anger, he stabs her in the gut. And I knew this was coming. I knew they were going to kill her off, just judging from things that we'd seen from leaked footage and everything from season 3, and it's just the way they set it up. There was really no other way to go with it. I knew it was going to happen. I was prepared for it, but I was pissed nonetheless, because I think this was a character they could have done a lot with. And Daryl finally opening up to someone just to have them killed, he's going to revert back to exactly who he was, aside from having Laurent. Now, Laurent, too, he didn't have any screen time in this episode. I honestly don't think Laurent will go with Daryl. That's just my guess. I don't think anything's going to happen to him, but I think after everything, the events of this episode, which I'll get into, I don't think he'll go with him, and I'll kind of explain that as I go along, but because as the fight goes on, after Isabel is stabbed by Losang and she makes her way out of the building, or out of the area that she's in, it is Carol that stumbles upon her and tries to help her, and she finds out this is Daryl's friend. She knows of the American and whatnot, because Carol says, my name's Carol, I came from America, and that just right there, that clicks with Isabel. This is one of Daryl's friends. I need to get her to him, and she does just that. This is after Daryl has been released from his cell, from that frightened kid who was hiding behind the cell doors and everything, and Daryl takes charge, gets out there, takes out all those people that we saw in the trailer, where he's taking out all these people, along with some of these super walkers that are being, that's what they're fighting in the hallway. And it's after this is done, this is where him and Carol reunite. This is where they find each other again. And we get another beautiful, I miss you type embrace, and just so glad to see you kind of thing that we've seen in the past, like way back during the Terminus episodes of Walking Dead, where everyone thought Carol was either just gone or dead, and she's the one who actually saved everybody. And you see that same kind of embrace, that I'm so glad you're alive type of thing, where Daryl just embraces her and just hugs her with everything he's got. So it's from here that Carol does take Daryl to Isabel for, sadly, what is her last moments, and she passes. And we don't see Daryl do what they normally do to make sure they don't come back, but I think that was kind of on purpose. It was kind of, I think, to preserve what they had, and then she's just gone. And there's a real gut punch for us people who really enjoyed her character. I thought she had a lot of potential. They could have taken her on, and she could have become someone very important to Daryl, and it just would have made him a completely different person. I kind of think that's why they didn't do it, too. They didn't want to change who Daryl was, and I think if Isabel would have been there with him, it might have made him possibly weak, and could have possibly gotten him killed down the road. So Carol and Daryl are on their way. They come across this small fortress or small castle or whatever you want to call it out in the French wilderness, and it's this older couple. That's where Laurence and Falou had since been, but they are gone. They got this car going, and they were headed back into Paris. And Daryl and Carol take refuge there. This old couple feeds them and provides them with a car and everything, but it kind of backfires a little bit, where the guy, kind of out of desperation to keep his wife safe, makes a deal with some soldiers that come on looking for them. They give them food and everything, but he kind of makes this deal that we don't know about until it's too late, and he has pulled a shotgun on Daryl and Carol as more soldiers arrive, along with Madame Genet. Now, here's where it gets, I did not expect this to be happening. I did not expect this to go down the way it did. We do get kind of some back and forth where Carol gets herself into a situation after choosing to save this old couple when they're trying to make their way out of the area. When her and Daryl are ready to jump in this car and take off, she takes the chance to save these people, and it gets her cornered by Madame Genet and a few other people. And then, of course, as things work out the way they do, Daryl comes in from the rear, takes out the last remaining guy that is with Madame Genet, and they both have her kind of dead to rights, and Carol just shoots her with one of those serum darts, and we get to see what it does to a living person. So far, we'd only seen what it did to somebody after they passed, and it was to speed up the transformation process and just juice it up. Well, this one, it almost like boils them from the inside, because she has these things that form on her face, and they just kind of burst, and she dies. And it's just, I didn't see that coming. I didn't think that they would kill Madame Genet off in such a way and so quickly. I thought she would at least make it until the last episode, because we still have 2 more episodes left. This is where it kind of gets interesting too, where we are kind of introduced, but not so much, to the hidden villain in the background. Because after the death of Genet, after her people realize that she's gone, they had since taken the nest, and Lo Sang was the prisoner along with his little sidekick. I can never remember her name. I don't think we've gotten it, but maybe once. But they come to him, say, Madame Genet is dead. Her way of doing things didn't exactly work out, so we're going to take our way and your way and make them one. And this is where we more so get the hidden villain that was there all along. We knew Lo Sang was kind of a bad guy. He was blinded by the faith and just on this mission and everything. Now he's the same guy, but with the backing of all these soldiers and all these fanatics and all these just crazy people. And he's going to go after Daryl and after Carol and anyone that stands in his way to get Laurent back, to prove this faith or prove this prophet or whatever to be true. They know it's true. He's not turning away from it. And his little sidekick, I don't know, she just seems like a little psycho, really. Just the way she grins and smiles in the background, and she just seems like a little psychopath. But kind of just to sum it all up, it was a very good episode. Definitely had some shock as far as Isabel being killed, but I saw it coming. But more so with Genet's death, I did not see that coming. I did not realize they would just off her so quickly, but it was to serve a purpose where it was to make Lo Sang rise to power. Now he's got the control of these soldiers and whatnots, and they're out scouring the countryside looking for Daryl, Carol, Falou, and Laurent to bring Laurent back to this and do away with anyone else that gets in the way. And then to top off the episode, and this is something that we've been waiting for, this is something that Melissa McBride herself said was coming in this season, that we're going to get confirmation of what she said in that transmission to Daryl when she said so-and-so is back. And this is something that a lot of people debated and just swore up and down. She's saying that Rick is back. And I just don't think that was ever something that she was going to tell him over the radio. And the sense of urgency, that was always my argument, that she would never say this and just blow it off and just be like, oh, whatever, never mind. I'll just tell you when you get here, something to that effect. And we finally got that confirmation in this episode. And it was very nonchalantly, as they're making their way, I think, to the castle or whatever that old couple is in, and Daryl just asked nonchalantly, who did you say was back when I talked to you on the radio? And she just flat out says it was not a person, it was a feeling or a thing. And just how things were very quiet within the Commonwealth and old ghosts were popping up, and just it was very kind of anticlimactic, and they just kind of avoided the issue. And it makes me think, is the timeline with the arrival of Rick back home to that area and with Carol leaving lined up at all? Like, I think they might be maybe a week off or something. Maybe he comes home and Carol's already gone. And she talks about how Judith and Connie and all these people miss him and want him to come home, but it's just very kind of, like I said, it's anticlimactic. And so the mystery has been revealed, and she may not even know he's back yet. And I just thought that was kind of weird. And there was just this big mystery that everyone was talking about for several months for the last year since the last season of Daryl Dixon, and with the arrival of Rick and Michonne back home. And everyone was just convinced that she said that Rick is back, because they had all these theories that with the transmission breaking up, it could be heard that she was saying Ick is back. And so everyone was like, oh, Rick's back. And that was the big secret, and just all that. I was never convinced, and it seems that my predictions or my feelings on the subject have been confirmed. She did not say Rick was back. It was just a feeling. So it was just a very kind of weird thing to go off with that. So it should be a very interesting last couple of episodes to see what they do with Ash. I'm still convinced that he's not going to make it, but hell, we could be wrong. Maybe he is kind of a mid-season replacement or mid-series replacement, however you want to see, where he's going to possibly take the place of Isabel, where he's going to fill that void. I don't have high hopes. I think he will probably more than likely be killed, because we do see in the trailer, which I will also break down, that scene where we have Daryl, Carol, and Ash. Ash is the one who gets cornered in that car, and Daryl and Carol kind of come to his rescue and help him get out of the situation, but I don't think it ends well for him. And this is why they end up going to that tunnel and just completely abandoning the whole flying out of their situation, where they have no choice but to go through this Euro tunnel to make their way into Spain. And just, I think it's shenanigans are afoot, and I think that we're going to be in for some crazy shit for these next couple episodes. But overall, very good episode. As the season has gone on, I have enjoyed the episodes more. Like, that premiere was very weak. Second one was better. The third one was a little bit better. This one also just a little bit better. So I'm really excited to see what these two episodes bring, especially because we were promised by Norman Reedus that the finale for this season is supposed to be the best Walking Dead anything ever. So I'm really hoping that holds up. I'm really hoping that they do something just out of this world crazy that will make that true, but we will just have to wait and see. And with New York Comic-Con going on this weekend, they didn't really announce too much from my knowledge. I haven't really looked into it a whole lot either, but they are, I guess, teasing future spinoffs, but they are saying that maybe there's still hope for, I guess, a grand finale, but we'll just have to wait and see, because I don't think there's anything official. But anyways, guys, that is my review, my breakdown of the episode 4. If you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. Help me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers, and I will see you next time. So take care. Bye.